Hey everybody, welcome to Wide Net Gaming, doing another companion review for my 5.5 minute ToeJam and Earl review, just kind of showing you what I do. I'm doing a new game here on hard mode, and again, kind of like what I stated, you can leave it open for public players to join at any time, and the process how it works is you go fixed, then you go random, then you go to hard mode, and then the characters that you pick, that sticks with the game after you load it. So even if you quit and you go back in, you're still stuck with that character, and even people that join you are actually stuck with the same characters they picked. This is done pretty well. Even starting a game and then having it open on the internet for like any players to join. But how the process works is you start with fixed, you're forced to, and then as you complete each game, you can go to random, then you can go to the hard mode. So anyway, here's the first level here. There's never a ship piece, and you're stuck with kind of searching presents, money that's around, and like the search too. Any like little block of space that you search, you get your 50 experience points. You see in the bottom right there, all the purple blocks is what I haven't searched, and I go a little bit into that little area, and it'll give me my 50 XP. But you search through kind of searching out there, and there can be people hiding. Like there I have the little Santa helper guy, and I shaked it and he goes into the water, and that always kills people. But I'm going a little bit off in the water. You see how I uncover that square that gives me experience. That's the whole point of it. But I don't go out too far. It's just kind of water surrounding this tiny little island. And between each of the 25 levels, you always have an elevator sequence bringing you to the next little level, and depending on the characters you have with, like, they'll interact and you'll have a little fun dialogue with them. With the hard mode, there's a lot more of the Earthlings, and then here I'm selecting my power hat. This is optional, but this gives you a little ability. I actually declined it accidentally here, but it'll give you like abilities such as you'll get health, or you can charm the hostile NPCs to kind of go away. A little heart will go around them. But from the second level on, then you have the option of getting the ship pieces, and those always show up on the top middle of the map. Like, you don't have to worry about kind of searching and like if the level has a ship piece or not for each level. It'll show you in the top here. And what I'm doing currently is I'm putting the little money in. It's only 10 cents to kind of find out, like, you get a present or you get like a little option here. But I lucked out with this game because I went to the secret world right away. That's a little door opening up. And with the game, I didn't bother searching too much, but here you're seeing it a little bit. I'm going to skip ahead, actually, just to kind of keep it moving. But you want to kind of grind or almost farm all the trees, the buildings, to get items, especially early on, because you can get more presents, and presents give you XP. Here I jumped ahead. And as you can see, I'm already maxed out in my presents because I found out this world early on. There's no threat or danger in this secret world that I was lucky to get early on. So what I want to do is use up present, which I'm doing. I'm finding the most optimal presents to use. I'm using the doorway here. With the amped version of it, which I have, it gives you like usually 2 uses, or it gives a little bit more strength to whatever the present item is as you use it. But normally when you have this world, which you'll typically have later on, you can search each of the trees. You can get like a present, and that'll give you XP. Here I'm using a telephone. What the telephone does is it removes the fog of war of 4 pieces, and then if it's amped, it does a little bit more. But I'm kind of optimizing my presence kind of as I travel through here. And that's what you would normally do, is like if you're playing a game, the focus with this game is on the presence, because that's kind of your randomizing element. You don't want to ignore them, because that's your XP. You use your XP, you upgrade. That makes your character stronger as you're going through the game. So it's something that you always want to be collecting more presents while at the same time using the ones up that are as safe as possible, that you know what they do without any risk. You know, like with any roguelite, you want to avoid risk, and like if you know what doesn't cause any risk and benefits you, like it revolves around that, and then you thoughtfully kind of use risk to kind of advance your character. Because there are things with this game too. Well, it's kind of like with, I'd say the closest I can think of is Binding of Isaac. Certain things are negative if you use them or taking risk. There's kind of those things, but with a more laid back element. Like here I'm using items like my imposter outfit, even though I have no enemies, just to get the XP and just to kind of make space for more presents. Then after you leave like the secret world that I'm doing here, this takes you back to the regular world. And you can go back to, like, sometimes you'll get like the little coin meter where you go back, and here I'm going back to the level 2 once again. Normally with each level, how it works with searching, like the trees, houses, and like bushes, you're not searching every little thing. It kind of depends what enemies are around. Like here, there's this little ghost guy kind of going after me. And the reason being is they'll attack you, so you can't wait there. There is no time limit, like, for the levels. But that's the only reason why. And here I get the Santa's elf guy with the present once again. So you're kind of going back and forth, like you're searching the map, and then at the same time looking through these bushes, getting presents, avoiding like the hostile, like earthlings they call them. And then at the same time there's also the friendly earthlings, and you can tell between them, like the friendly earthlings have little sparkles around them. And there's differences between the hostile and the friendly earthlings. They do different things. Here I'm at my inventory. You see all these question marks, and this is because I don't know what they do. And you don't know what the presents that you pick up do until you use them. And then from that point, then it tells you. The negative is, if you do risk it, which going back to kind of risk versus reward thing, and here I have the telephone, there's my 4 squares, gives me experience. You see in the bottom left there my experience. Once that bar is filled all the way up to the top, then I can upgrade my character by going to the wise man. That's the guy in the carrot suit in the top left there, happens to be. And then you upgrade all your attributes, from searching to present skill. That's like a kind of how long you use a present, how well it works. And like health bar, you can gain another heart. You see my character there, like there's different classifications. So right now I'm wiener, but it'll go to like cabbage for the next level. And then here I use something like, I know it's Icarus wings, so I'm using it. Probably shouldn't have, but this is just kind of to show you how the game works. And I'm searching, like those little purple blocks are being uncovered. You see I get 50 experience. Not really a good idea. It's not a lot of experience, because like some presents will give you 300. But depending on the level, it's good that now you hear it. See, there I got my promotion. I can go back to the carrot man, and then I can upgrade my character, and it'll randomize kind of what the which attributes are upgraded. But nice little effects. You see how it's like as isometric, but it kind of goes farther away. Oh, Doofus. I guess that's the next one. Cabbage maybe after that. And then it randomizes also what's upgraded. My searching, inventory, and life bar. And you see it with the stats there. What is, in fact, upgraded each time. And I'm doing just a little bit more searching. Normally what you're going to be doing is searching as much as you can, really, with whatever level you pick. Because that gives you more presents, gets you more experience. And then by using them, you find out what they are. There is a negative to it too. Like you can get a randomizer or a baby randomizer, and that randomizes all of your presents. So you have to figure out what they are. Once again, you can even die. The presents are the focal point of the kind of randomization roguelite element of the game. Quickly though, here this is one of the 2 games. This is kind of the Parappa Rappa game, and then the first one I'm playing His Beat, which is just a few button commands that you have, and depending on how well you do, you get money, you get presents, and you always have 2 options here. And then the second one, depending on what the first one is, you have to make your own beat and then replicate it again, and then depending on how complex it is, then you have to follow the button commands. And the same thing, it gives you the money, it gives you the random present. Here I am picking a beat. And you see the arrow there moving from left to right depending on how complex it is. And then after you make it, then you have to beat it out. Push it out, whatever the word would be. And depending on how well you do it, I have gotten perfects with these. It gives you a little bit extra money and like an additional present, but these aren't too hard, really. Now here I'm using some of my presents because I'm maxed out, and this is just to make space for my inventory. Also, one thing I didn't mention was the characters. The one I did pick is the Geek Jam, and with him, if you pick up a school book, if you use it, you get a skill upgraded, like Sturge skill or like one of those. So all the characters are different too. Another character, Earl, for instance, he can eat anything without getting sick. Like you'll see my character, if he eats rotten mushrooms or rotten food, he'll get sick. Going back to the friendly Earthling, this is the D&D kind of cosplay nerd crowd, and you're able to roll a random dice, and then if you get a certain number, you get money, but then you have to spend $1 to use each one. There's a lot of randomization with this game, and that kind of player agency making choices. Now here I got 19, so I got 5 because I have to get a 14 or more. 19 is 5 more, so I got $5. And then I can keep rolling actually there, but I decided not to because you can lose money and then not gain it back if you don't get more than 14. A lot of coin meters, and these can go either way. You can get nothing, or you can get like $1, or you can get one of the mini games. And like the searching, anything in the bushes really it could be something like a present, it could be $1, and you're managing always the like the presents. That's the item. Try to use as much as you can because that's always bumping up your experience. And this gets out of control pretty quick. You'll see later on, like using a bunch of presents because like you have a bunch of enemies, and then one plays off the other, and it can help you or it can hurt you where you're just trying to get away. How it works with the randomization between the little kind of plots of land. Here's a phone where it gives me more again. They have pathways that are hidden, and by searching them, you're able to go from one section to another, and then the hostile NPCs can't go after you. And I think this is kind of in there to function to like support the randomization, where you can have the random hostile enemy AI without having to worry about them kind of covering the whole map. And same thing with the bushes, like anything can be in there, so it's a risk reward a little bit. Like you can get a present, you can get nothing, which is most of the time, or you can get like a hostile Earthling, like the guy on the Segway over here. The only neutral one is this tornado and the hula girl, which made me kind of hula dance, and then that called the tornado ironically there, like with the 2 neutral NPCs. If you fall off the map, all you do is go to the level before. You see in the bottom right there, I'm on level 2. I was on level 3. How this works in multiplayer, wherever the lowest level a character is on, that character has to get back up to the current level. Otherwise, you're stuck. You're stuck in the elevator and it doesn't move. Even if you're at a higher level waiting, there'll be kind of a waiting for other characters kind of thing. But since I'm by myself, I just move to the next level as I go along. Then once I do return, it's not always at the same place. Like if I fall and go into another place, like with the secret world, I go to the same location. But if I fall off, then I go to another one. The other elevator is the one with like the teeth there that you have a little bit of time to get out. Here I'm back to my present inventory. I'm using a decoy. This, as it sounds, diverts the hostile NPCs away from my location, and you see kind of the unveiling, the search from each plot of land. You can see in the bottom right too, on the map, that little straight green plot of land shows you the hidden pathways, and this was a good idea. Like, they could have made it a huge chunk of land, and this is a good elevator here too. But by having this, it forces you to search a little bit, and is a kind of a good escape from like wherever you're at on a particular map to go to another location. And it doesn't make it straightforward where you can just kind of walk along where you're at. And just for reference, you can see in the bottom right here now, I only have one square open. So there's that mystery of kind of where am I going, with roguelites that, like, they'll have similar templates between maps, like if you repeatedly play the same game, but it forces you to kind of search around, and you don't know what's going on, and that keeps you engaged in what's going on. Now, one thing I have been trying is that I didn't like, that was a criticism that I didn't mention in the review, is you search your bag and no one can harm you. And what I wanted to find out is, can I do that at any time? Can I search and then they don't go back? And there you saw the Men in Black guy. He randomized my presence. So it depends. Like, there's a risk. Sometimes you search in your bag and then you don't have to worry about characters chasing you. But other times they'll just kind of be hounding you until you're off of your search bag function, and then they'll go after you. Like, here's another example. I got 18. I got $3 here. And then when you see the D&D crowd, it's Dungeons and Dragons. With the roll gambling thing, depends on how much money you have. Like, here I have $16, so it's kind of worth risking the money to get the extra money. I have a lot of Santa's helpers in this game. It just depends. Sometimes, like, you're searching bushes, I could get the hostile Earthlings, but like this time I didn't. And here I'm getting another Man in Black guy. You never know what you're running into, especially on hard mode, because there's so many more Earthlings that you're running into. That, like, they could be friendly, they could be hostile, and the game does a good job scaling it up. Like, you're forced to the fixed mode early on. You have to beat that. It's only 15 levels, so it doesn't take too long. And then after that, it's randomized, not too hard, and then depending on how long you played the game. There's a good variety. There's my promotion again, because I searched, but there's a good variety in biomes. You have the standard green one, winter, and the dark level. Kind of reminds me of Spelunky with the different biomes that are randomized. Like, you got the dark one, and then every 4 levels you go to a different one. There isn't a huge difference. Like, the aesthetics are nice, but like with the ice one, you can slide across the ice to escape enemies. Whereas with the water one, you're going in the water, and then you have a limited amount of time and then the dark one is just harder to see, but you can sneak past enemies by holding a button. If you're on the Xbox One, the A button, and then they don't wake up. So there's decent variety, and this plays well for more simple games that they're actually sometimes able to have more variety. This is a good example where it works well compared to like my most recent review with We Happy Few, for instance. There's only 2 technical biomes, even though it's more complicated. Here I'm doing the Parappa kind of button press deal again. But just an example of some of these smaller games, you can add more complexity, just because the mechanics are simpler, and if there's not as many parameters, even with like the hostile Earthlings, there's space for them to move around. Yeah, it just depends. All these I'm just getting a wow. You can also get a perfect rating, and you see in the bottom there I'm getting a broken present. It has little puffs of smoke kind of coming out. Here's one Earthling where I can exchange presents, and it's not a good deal, so I decided not to. One example of the randomized element is this is the Valkyrie. I can pay her some money to take out Earthlings, but this is also the Earthlings that help you, as well as the ones that don't help you. So, risk reward of, do you want to use it to kind of take out both? Most of the time it's worth it, or you can kind of wait. Like here I did. I used some of the stuff and then I decided to use her. Even when you take damage, there's a lot of food around the map, so I noticed that it's not a big deal really to take damage as long as that's going around. Like, it gets hectic later on in the game. I'm only at level 5. You see in the top there's a ship piece, so I'm going to be searching the level until I find a ship piece. But the health doesn't seem to be a huge issue if you see like the food around the map, and like as your health bar increases, it doesn't fill up as much, but it's not a huge deal to know like how many health points each like food item fills up. But always with the friendly Earthlings, you see the little sparkles going around them, and they do different things. Like Gandhi makes all Earthlings in the vicinity friendly, and like I have the health wizard there next to him with the cap. And there I took a risk. I went for Big Sneeze. But with this game, it just depends. Like, if you have it open, you can get more players, and that changes the experience. Like, obviously, if you're playing with friends, it's a very different experience. Like, it is 2-player, whether you play local, whether you play online. So if you play with someone else, it's different. Here I'm getting my first ship piece, and kind of like with the upgrade, this upgrades like my character. I'm getting lucky here. I'm getting triple XP. I see in the bottom left, like my bar is well over. I'm almost due for a double upgrade. But with the hostile Earthlings, you can always tell if they don't have the sparkles. Here's a broken present. Like, you have a little randomization thing. If it goes in the red, goes in the green, it works, or it does not. And if it does not work, it does a little bit of damage to you. And like with this too, you can get it repaired with a little Doc Brown, Back to the Future guy that you see sometimes. And there, I'm traveling across the ice in the winter biome, and there's different things. Like that's a good way to escape if characters are following me. Same thing with the water too. Even though you're going in the water and your health is depleting the longer you are in, you're still able to get away. Here I'm getting attacked by the ghost cow, and then I got the phone. And there's a lot of just kind of searching presents, taking risks. Like, there's really negative presents though. Like, I can lose a life. I can even lose experience, or everything kind of get randomized, which isn't and the randomized one, some aren't necessarily positive or negative. It depends on the situation. Like the randomized one could be positive if you have a lot of presents you don't like, or like the baby randomizer where it randomizes some. You take the risk of using it to get presents, like presents you don't like, to get ones you do. But yeah, I mean, like with this game, like I'm noticing, just in terms of buzz and everything, it's not quite as popular because it is so niche. Like it does cater to the people that played the original, and like I said in my review, I had a Super Nintendo. I never had a Sega Genesis, which this game was early on anyway, as far as an exclusive on. So it depends on that, and then along with that, you have people in their 30s, of course, that did play that game, kind of following it, and I like there were backers and everything with this game too. Like even in the game, they kind of credit them. There's a backer island where you get presents from like a character that they have there if you fly to it or use spring shoes, kind of going to it, and it makes it much more niche. But the unique thing with this game, and some it's indie, and some others, is that online component. It is 4-player online, whether you have another player locally or not, which is a huge thing too. And that's a huge thing that has always been with games, is if you have another player. Most of the time when you're playing a game, you have maybe one other guy, it doesn't matter what age you're at. You have one other guy playing with you, or it's just you, especially in this day and age, and then you're able to carry that over to play online, like a lot of old last gen and the gen before that really too. Much more games, if they were online, like they almost always had another player that you could play along with, and then you could both play online on the Xbox, like Xbox Live or any other system if it had that functionality. And here I'm using more randomized presents. There's my 300 experience points, and like these maps too, I'm searching, or this level, I'm searching more because I know the ship piece is there, so it's worth searching around.
Thanks.
There's the mole. That's one hostile NPC. If I hit him, then he takes a present. But you're always looking at that bottom right corner to see on the map where your character is, what you've searched, to kind of gain experience. And you're balancing out that with the presents. You sometimes have amped this level, which randomly amps a present that you have randomized, or one you even know, just for that level. So it kind of encourages you to use it. But they can screw you over. It could be one that is negative. It could be like Earthling Horde, and most of those are like hostile Earthlings that attack you. There I'm Cabbage. That's what I was talking about earlier. Back to the randomization, life bar, inventory, searching skill. Searching skill applies to like the bushes, the trees, the houses. It gives me skill, and you can see the explanation of these two. Luck is another one. Since things are randomized, how much luck you have, and again, going back to Binding of Isaac, there's a luck aspect pertaining to the quality of the things you're searching. And here I'm backed up here. Here I get luck. Yeah. And luck again, and inventory. And all the characters are different, apart from like special abilities. Like one has Icarus wings, where they can fly for longer, and they get them right away. But also like their searching skill, their inventory. This is all different between the characters. The music one, it's kind of scattered, like 3 different characters, but you're doing the same stuff. And this is leveled up too. Like you have you have the same stuff going on. It gradually gets harder depending on your level, and then it'll be randomized which music character you get. Here I'm at level 4. And I'm always going twice to do the beat is the one they make up, and then the one that I make up, and then I have to repeat again, and how well I do it for each. Depends on how much I get for presents and money. Here I'm playing my beat. You know, usually you'll get the wow once you get used to it. You get perfect. I've had those sometimes with either one, but it's pretty rare, unless you're a pro at it. The Pharaoh guy I have here, this is the guy I love to use because I'm lazy. He uncovers all the things in the bushes and the trees. And here you notice I'm getting yet another one. I'm getting lucky with this one in this game, the secret world door there. But I'm going for the ship piece because I know that's in the top middle. I know I can get another one. And it's the same thing. Like, I'll get, you know, either a broken present, a present, and there I just got a regular amped present. And then you notice here they're sleeping. I'm kind of ignoring it, but you can sneak past them. This applies to the friendly ones too, which you don't have to care about, but you know, they apply the randomization to both characters. Here I'm trying to sneak past, but I don't. And I got the teeth guy, you know, from before, so I have to get out. You have a couple seconds to kind of get out. Otherwise, if you do go in, it takes you to the level before. Then you just go back up. And here I'm. This guy can take you out in one shot. If you follow the road, you move a little bit faster. I got two hostiles approaching me. And it just depends. Sometimes they'll keep following you forever. Sometimes they won't. There's my Earthling horde. And this is what happens. You know, I use a bunch of presents. This kind of stuff happens. You know, risk reward. Just to show you. But it happens anyway, even not just to show you. And then here, you know, it's like present freeze. I can't use presents, so I'm going to the presents, hoping he goes away, which he doesn't. But I'm waiting anyway, and then I get killed here. And I go down 1 life. I'm down to 3 now. And then you notice with the water, then you can go in the water rather than with the ice, kind of skeeting across. But I got my ship piece going to the next level here. And yeah, the biomes, it's random too. Like I can get another snow one. It could be dark, or it could be a regular green one too. Summer level, I guess you could call it. See in the top there, that's the backer island, and that'll give you like certain presents and money. And this is the second part. This is the funk zone. And with this one, when you pick it, even if you're playing with other people, they'll all jump there right away. Whether even if they're dead, if they're on different levels, which is pretty cool. It kind of helps them. With the music one, though, it's not the case. They have to go there. They have like 5 seconds to sync up with you, and then you both kind of do it. So it's kind of fun. Here I'm using another broken present. I'm able to use it. I get my 300 XP again. Shaking, finding more presents. Here again, I'm trying to get this guy to go away and attack him. And I have the amp tomatoes, so it shoots really fast. And this works on, you know, there I just took out a friendly one, as you can see. And it's just random. Like there I got a torch. I'm trying different things. Here I got rocket skates, you know. And I got the bad, you know, like here's a classic random occurrence of I have low health, I get rocket skates, I use a random press, I get rocket skates, and then I go to the stinky cheese, which takes away my last little bit of health and kills me. It doesn't always turn out that way. Like, sometimes there's a benefit. It just depends, you know.
You want my help?
But I like the Pharaoh guy because I'm lazy and he can search everything for me. Yeah, but there is a benefit to it. Like, I don't have to risk searching something and then someone's attacking me. And, you know, there's a lot of, like, a character attacking you. What do you do? And, like, with reviews and all that, they miss this part. Like, if you, again, kind of like what I said in the review is, if you ignore the present aspect, like the teeth elevator again, you miss the point of the game completely. Like, just ignoring it just feels like you're walking away from enemies as you go along, but you have to use and kind of figure out like what these presents do. And there's little risks with it, like sometimes randomize, and that's the whole fun of the game. Like here I'm using the sneeze, and I'm careless, and I knock off some guys, but it bumps me off. So, here's an example of kind of me joining a game. The first one was me just starting a game, just kind of show you how the online works. There's like a level or two. It depends. If you're on weekends, there's a few more people playing. This is a fixed world I'm joining. It can be quite a bit harder, no matter which one that you pick, because whatever level they're on, you're going to that one. You haven't leveled up or anything. It could be like almost the end of the game. And this ramps up the challenge quite a bit because you need to have been playing. Like here I'm on level 18, but I'm starting at Wiener. You see in the bottom left there. So my health bar is lower. The enemies do more damage. The type of enemies you get, like they ramp up. Like there's different types of the same enemy. They just do more damage, or they attack you more aggressively. So here I'm taking my time searching, and how it works, you can see what they have searched in the level if you have another character. So the weird thing that happened with this one is I believe he fell down to the previous level like shortly after I joined. But here I have some harder enemies. So I'm already using something, like there's the baby randomizer enemy if he touches me. And this character has the expanded Icarus wings where I can use it for longer. I'm just going to telephone. So I'm using that right away, just to kind of search around and just to not die. It's like so many are attacking me. But it's tricky early on, because you got to pick up those presents, get more experience, and there's only so many levels up, so it's more of survival if you're joining, and then if they're later in the game. So ideally, if you have some friends to play with, the best to do is to start from the beginning. But it works very well, especially for an indie game. You have a little chat commands, and here he has arrived. And again, you have to wait until all characters go in the elevator to go to the next one. So here I have Earl. Then once they go in, then it goes to the next level. And there's little like fun, like here you have the two dialogue, contextually going on because I have another character. And that makes it more fun too. Like there's also interaction with like the Earthlings, the hostile, and the friendly ones as you go around. Here I'm using the power hat just to show you, and you see what it does. Here's Hat of Fish, and that makes it so I can go in the water, and my health doesn't deplete. I'm able to keep going. But there's the backer island thing where I'm getting the present, and I get my present amped with this one. But again, I'm at the later levels, so I got to be more careful with enemies I'm running into, because they can kill me like in one hit. And you have like, here's the ghost lawnmower guy. Like I have the regular guy, but this guy moves faster. He goes after me. I'm hiding the sunflowers so he doesn't see me. And the good thing is, when you are waiting in the elevator, I can send a command over to head over to the elevator as I'm waiting. And on the bottom right there, you can see on the map where they're at. And if they've searched a purple block location, that is unveiled. So that lets you know too, like you don't double search. This game is made well with multiplayer in mind, and that's the original too. I believe it's like that was 2-player, where you searched each of the levels. One text bubble and it goes to another again. And there's a little response to it. Yeah, it's nice. Here's the dark level. Another randomized hat, and then once again I get the fish. And you see how rough it is. Like, I have these fast enemies, I have the stronger versions of them, using the boombox that keeps them where they're at. And I'm searching for that hidden path along here. But the main thing with, and just how I rate games in general, is do the mechanics work well? Is there a point to caring about them? You know, as you play a game, if it's too easy, then you don't care about them, and then you start to ignore some certain things, and you're just doing the bare, the bare minimum. Or like on the here he's telling me level 20, meet me at the elevator, which is the one we're on here. And then I can see on the map he's in the top left here. And here, as an example, I get 1 hit killed. I'm going to the next one. 25 levels always with the random and with the hard mode. With the fixed is kind of your beginner one that does 15, and then like the game is structured the same, like the levels, to make it easier. But it's always 25. And then you have always the last level has the last piece, and then the first level never has any piece. And that's basically it. Like, you just have the ship pieces apart from that. You don't have to worry about if you're going to miss something. Like, I did that the first couple games I played. Is I didn't know how to play the game, and it would tell me, it's like, well, you missed a piece, you gotta go back. And it's as simple as just walking off the map. You go to the previous one, and then I understood. Here's the funk zone. Again, you immediately jump to both of it. You both immediately jump to it. But the good thing is, you know if a level has a ship piece, because it's in that top middle here. And even if you have 4 players, like you all jump, you can all be in different levels, like you can be in 4 different levels, and you can still jump to the funk zone. And then the other, again, is the music one. You have to be on the level. But you see with this one, there is a ship piece. So I know to look for one. Here's the ice cream truck. I charmed it with the heart, but that's like the harder one. That can insta-kill you, which it does insta-kill me. And then here I'm using my Icarus wings, my angel wings once again. Yeah, but anyway, as I was saying, with the game mechanics, it is more laid back, but just with how it's structured, it strengthens how the enemies function. Like, there isn't a limitation to like how they're able to attack you, and you have to knowing their AI behavior and what they do is relevant, and you don't have that with all games. Like, there can be a loophole of you can kind of ignore it by doing the same thing that you do. But like with this game, you have, since the presents are randomized, you have to use risk reward for ones that you don't know or ones you do know. If you see an enemy that is that way, and like I said, with the bag looking like, that's kind of what I was figuring out through my playthroughs this time, is do they eventually go away? And the answer is no. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That randomization works well, and AI doesn't have to always be out for you, attacking you. Like, it's good if It doesn't sometimes, you know, just to affect how you make choices. Now here I was killed, as you can see, so now I'm a ghost, and the game still continues. Like I can still kind of help them as he goes along, and at the same time here another character has joined, and I'm going to show you just some of the things that it does, like the split screen thing. Like here you see if characters are farther apart, they do a split screen to show one and show another, and you see this normally after you die, but you can change this in the settings if you want to see a couple different characters. But this is actually really cool, like because when you die, I'm able to see what both are doing, and I can jump to either character. I can help one or the other, and they can revive me if they have an additional life. In this case, they don't. Then when they merge, you know, it goes back to one screen. So we're just about reaching the end here. Like the max is level 25, and that's always where the last ship piece is. And there's no final boss or anything. It's just you get the last ship piece, and that's it. You're done. And this is true even if you die, and you know that whole time you can get an extra life. Like kind of like with old school, you know, goes back to the old school 80s. Early 90s games. If you have an extra life, you can give it to the other character. But again, here, like there's that split screen, and this goes to even 3 and 4 screens. Like they did a really good job with this, because you're able to see what is going on in this isometric perspective. And accidentally, I give him the rotten cabbage, and he dies. You're able, you know, again, you're able to bump the food over. But those last few levels, especially, you want to really have those good presence when you're on the hard mode, or even on any level, because the characters are at their toughest, and being able to jump to that last ship piece can be the difference between winning and losing. But there's even more dialogue, though, interaction sometimes. Like you have the 3 people, and they'll comment to each other. They'll comment to like NPCs, the friendly and the hostile Earthlings. But what I am able to do, like even if I quitted out of this game and I rejoined, I would still be limited to my Peebo. That's my character that I picked this time, because the game remembers that I am that character that I picked for this game. And yeah, I mean, that's nice. Otherwise, you could just rejoin and not worry about it. And I would still be a ghost even too. So am I able to like cheat? I can't rejoin, and then I'm a live character. But the people I am asking, these two, and I think Earl, the one at the top, doesn't have an extra life, and then the guy in the bottom is just not giving to me, which is okay because I'm low level. I would just die anyway, really. The leg-wise, there's a bit. Like you see in the bottom, it's not too smooth. Like he's skipping around a little bit. Like you have that. If you're the host, it's better off. And I mean, you're playing locally, like you'll be fine, or you're playing online. But the nice part is that you can leave it open, even if you're just playing and you have no intention of going online. You can have it open if you just want to randomly have someone join, which is something unique from the original game that was limited to 2 players. You can have online those 2 additional players joining up, and it makes it more fun because you have more randomization, like what they do, and you get to see that, and then they do something else, and then you do, or you know, it can compound it, definitely. And here another example, they're joining up, so the screen goes together. And then Earl was nice enough to give me another life, and then I waste it shortly after. I'm still a wiener here. Yeah, and even based on what you had, like I'm saying they have all the presents, because I think I have like a handful. because I played later and I picked up a couple and then I died. And all the like hostile Earthlings too, like the more you play the game, you kind of figure out what they do and you figure out how to approach them. Like the one that I am approaching has a drone, and that will make me use a present if the drone bumps me, or it'll just give me damage if the guy hits me. And the football player here, you see around him, if he runs into me, I'll lose some health. Here I got the funk attack one I'm able to use, and yeah, the kind of the cool thing is with the friendly and the hostile ones, it affects both. So it typically happens that you're attacking the hostile ones, and then you collateral damage. You take out the friendly Earthlings at the same time. Here I'm searching by myself here. Well, it gets pretty crazy. The farther you go in, you have the really hard enemies, and this is the easier zone. Actually, I'm just trying to get to the road here to get out of the way so I don't get killed. But they increase in amount and then damage, and then this is just fixed, was the easiest if I was on a hardcore, and then sure enough I die again. One hit, and then that's it. When you're not leveled up or anything. But again, it goes back to that split screen, so I know what's going on here. And then yeah, everything it's seamless. Like if someone's upgrading, going to an elevator, doing separate games, even like it'll show it. So it's not like some gimmick. It actually works well in this isometric perspective. In the water, the negative is the shark. Like even there too, you have friendly and hostile. You have the shark or the dolphin for attacking or not doing anything. The dolphin just sits there, he doesn't do anything for you. The only neutral one, the neutral, like the tornado is technically neutral because it doesn't hurt you, but it can take you over. But the hula girl, she'll keep you in place where you can't move, and then if you get close, you can replenish some health. She kisses you. Then we're reaching the end. There's only 2 more levels left, so you get an idea. Like the second to last level, if you don't have a ship piece and you collect all of them, there's only 1 left. So you just bolt for the elevator. And here Earl died, so now he's a ghost following, and now we're both following. There's only 2 levels left, so if he gets the last piece, like that's the end of the game. And then you're planning your presence strategically based upon that. Like I've had games where there's a present that is a jump to ship piece, and saving those up, then you're good for like the last few levels that have ship pieces, and you can just kind of bolt through. You don't have to worry about experience or anything. But there's always the risk of it getting randomized if you use a present randomly. Like it could be a randomizer, like with the question marks. So like there's always that thread, like it's that you don't have control. That makes it fun, and that's deceiving because watching this game, watching gameplay footage, it looks just like a laid back game. It's just a guy walking, alien, weird cartoon 90s aesthetic alien walking around, and those kind of things. And again, here we're on level 25, and there's always that ship piece, and that's all you got to do. When you get to the end there, it doesn't matter how weak you are. Like this guy too is a wiener, which is the base level, but as long as he avoids any enemies taking any damage, he only has 1 life left too. Then yeah, you're able to finish the game. There's no boss or anything you got to worry about. So it's a good game to good game to have. One more funk zone, and yeah, here's a nice touch. I always like that because I'm able to play. But it's a good like just something different to play, game to play by yourself or with other people because it's online. And there's not too many games that work like that because the gameplay is very different. You're walking around, you're searching, you're like tactically using the stuff that you have. There's that involvement, but it's more laid back, where you can have a snack or something, and then you're able to play. So it's kind of a good like optional, like something different to play. And even if you want to play something online, I know a lot of people play like Fortnite, online shooters, games along those lines, and this is something, if you want something different because of that online component, and it is, smaller scale, isometric even too, even the perspective. And like the other game was the Friday the 13th one. I think another example, a game that's online. You can just jump in, play a couple of games, for something different. And it has that learning too. Like you learn what the presents do. Because even when you're playing, you don't know what high tops mean or doorway. But then by using them, then you're able to learn and continually as you play the game. It's rewarding because the function, like how, what it does, and how it functions in the game, and this is this game more than most, especially because the like mechanics, like those kind of things, and how it affects gameplay is going to be more misunderstood if it's a review and you have a limited time to play the game, because there's all these different things with the presence that completely change like how you approach the game, stuff that you use, and just the importance factor. But then the enemies as well too, like their behavior. If you're doing a short review, you're just going to avoid all the enemies, but some are going to be more dangerous than others, and the friendly ones especially too. Like risk reward, like the Valkyrie, for instance, that takes out the good and bad Earthlings. Maybe it's good to use a present, take out a couple, and ignore her, kind of see how it goes, or to use her because there's a lot around, and like the benefit of the good Earthlings, is it worth it? So it's like that. But the main thing is there is that online. So if you have friends to play it with, it's worth checking out. And like some of the other games that I reviewed, this isn't on Game Pass or anything, so you're only going to know if you buy it, of course. But it's at that cheaper price point for an indie game if you're looking for something different. But anyway, the point of these is, like, this is another companion review, is to give you an idea how a game is beyond just my reviews, and go more in depth of stuff I've already said about the game beforehand. Really quick, last little part after you beat the game. Here I cheated because I was dead, but the guy beat it. You get a little hat progression. It's kind of like Binding of Isaac and other roguelites where you get little items. You're able to play again, and it's a little bit different next time. But main thing, the reason I recommend the game with the 5-point review is everything works together, and I believe it's a good idea. There isn't any compromises like with the AI or anything like that, and you have the online single player. You have those options too. So congratulations if you made it this far. You're at the end of the video. Like, subscribe if you really liked it, dislike, comment, and I will see you next time.